A good Erev Shabbos. The remarkable tzaddik of Simcha Bunim, the Rebbe of Pshischa, made it a focal point of his avodas Hashem to study Sefer Debarm every single day of his life. It was his Musar Sefer of choice. And seeing as now we as a nation are entering into this amazing Sefer, beginning Sefer Debarm this week, it's a rare opportunity, a chance for all of us to learn from one of the master educators, from Moshe Rabbeinu himself, about how to speak to ourselves. Sefer Debarm is really a Musar Sefer. It's a work of Tochacha, the addresses of Moshe Rabbeinu to the Jewish people, the last will and testament of Moshe Rabbeinu. And it's an opportunity for all of us to learn how to receive Tochacha, how to give ourselves Tochacha, how to speak to our children, and to know how to do it in a way where we're elevating and lifting up the people who are listening to our slight criticisms rather than pushing them down. Reb Nachman in Likutei Moharan, Tinyana, in Torah Ches, speaks about the difference between Tochacha she'ein re'uya and Tochacha re'uya, between proper and fitting rebuke and improper rebuke. Imagine a person who's walking out of his house holding a bag of garbage on his way to put it in one of the bins outside. Someone comes over and, as Rabbi Nachman says, imagine a person takes that garbage bag and rips a huge hole in the bottom of it, or throws the garbage bag out of his hand so that the contents spills all over the floor and all over his clothing. You haven't done the person much of a favor. They were taking something which was not really part of them, and they were removing that psolas, that externality. They were removing it from their house and bringing it outside. Proper rebuke is like taking the lid of the garbage can and lifting it up for them so that they can get rid of it more quickly, and saying to them, this is not really part of you. I see that you're just taking this out of your house. As opposed to identifying the person with their shortcoming. When Moshe Rabbeinu rebukes the Jewish people in the beginning of Sefer Debarm, it's never with an actual reference to the failure that the Jewish people committed, but rather a veiled reference, some sort of coded language, speaking about the place where the Jewish people made a mistake. Because you never want to associate the person with the Avera. You instead want to show the person that this was circumstantial, and this was secondary to who you are. Rav Yaakov Yisrael of Hornesteipel from Milwaukee was the father of Rabbi Dr. Abraham J. Twersky, the renowned psychologist and Rav. One Rosh Hashanah, they were having a guest in their home, and that guest, who was a Chashuv Rav in his own right, asked the young Avram Twersky if he wanted to play a game of chess. He obliged, and after playing the game, a few hours later, word got back to young Avram's father that he had engaged in this game of chess on Rosh Hashanah. He called him to his study and said, Avram, is there something you wanted to tell me? And the young Rabbi Dr. Abraham J. Twersky said his head was hung in shame. And he said, yeah, Abba, I played a game of chess, and the Rav asked me if I wanted to play, and I felt, I should say yes. And he said, Avram, Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is the day of the coronation of the king. We're so careful with every single moment, sleeping and eating and what we say, and there's nothing wrong with the game of chess, but on Rosh Hashanah. So, sitting there, kind of head hung low, dejected, the young Avram said, yeah, Abba, I'm sorry, it wasn't the right thing to do. And he started to back out of the room. And just then, his father looked up from his sefer. He turned towards the young Avram and he said, tell me, did you at least win? And the young Avram Twersky recounted later in his life that he remembered feeling like 1,000 pounds of bricks being lifted from his shoulders, because in that moment he realized that his father's criticisms, his father's rebuke was coming from a place of love. All his father wanted was for him to win. So we take the words of the tzaddikim and we plant them firmly in our hearts, and we ask Hashem to help us, that we should be zocheh to speak to ourselves and speak to other people in a way where it's clear that it's coming from a place of love. Kechu imachem Debarm. Take with you Sefer Debarm. B'shuva al Hashem. Shabbos.